What's up, guys? Welcome to another live session. Today is April 17th, 2020, and we're back at again on the charts for our profit week recap and next week market insight session. I hope you guys had a good week. You guys are safe, being there for one another. Definitely a crazy time we're in, and hopefully this social distancing doesn't last too long. Before we get started with this week's session, just want to go over some admin stuff really quickly. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Every Friday we choose a winner from our comments from Monday's video. Since this Monday was a bank holiday, we'll be choosing a winner on Monday for today's video. And so if you want to be one of the winners of a free month of trading room service, go ahead and leave us a comment and you might get picked. Make sure to subscribe, have the bell notifications on, because we post content pretty much daily. So make sure you do that. Next up is our Discord. So really our Discord's been the place to be. We have a lot of things that are there. So if you just take a look, we have community discussions, people sending in chart work. We have trade talk minors and majors from various traders, traders like me in price action. We also have traders from smart money, Elliott wave theory traders, and separate channels for majors and minors. Keep things clean. And you can see all our providers here. Elliott wave analysis. We even have some smart money concepts in there as well. And obviously you have me as RP Forex, and then all our signal providers down here. And so definitely the place to be. And if you want to join, you can definitely do that. You just have to click the link in the video description, and it'll take you to sign up form. It'll take you maybe a second to fill out, and then you'll get an invite link. Once you get on there, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, RP Forex, Allison, or chat room admin, and we'll be happy to help you. Next up is the paid. We have a referral program that we usually have pretty much every month, but this time we made it a bit easier. So now paid and free members could get a free month. All they have to do is refer 2 people, right? It used to be 3, but this time it's only 2. So if you have 2 friends that are looking to join us, if they join, you'll get a free month. So definitely take advantage. And once you refer them, again, just message me or one of the admins on Discord, and we'll add that to your membership. This week has been pretty great for pretty much all of our providers. I was finishing things up. I just finished my master's and I was really busy. So moving forward, I'm gonna be pretty much a full-time trader. For the past 12 months, I've been juggling work and the master's program, but now I'm free. So, while I was, a bit in and out of the markets, Institute Trader has been holding it down. I mean, his trade ideas are pretty much on point and on par. So if you want to follow his concepts, definitely join the Discord. He shares chart work from time to time in the free channels. And we do have, a mentorship for his program coming very soon. It's definitely in the pipeline. And we also have started to offer a 14-day risk-free trial. And what that means is if you sign up for any of our paid memberships and you don't like it, if you cancel within 14 days of the purchase, we'll refund you 100%. Okay? So make sure, for some reason, and I doubt you won't like our service, but if you do, make sure you cancel within those 14 days and we'll honor the refund policy. So definitely take advantage, and this applies to both the signals and trade room. And lastly, this week, you can see in the title of the video, maybe not if you're watching on the portal, we had around a 150 pip week depending on the setups you caught. I think I had around a 40 pip week depending, just because of the trades that I missed, but thankfully I did some scalps earlier in the day to help me out. So without further ado, we're going to get into the trades we took this week. For people on YouTube and on Discord that have questions and pair recommendations, send them through and I'll get them as I go through the session. So the first trade we discussed last Friday, which was actually a bank holiday, but I sent this chart in, was for USD Yen. A nice simple short, very easy concept, just to break of a 4-hour closure below 108.200, and the rest was pretty much history. Now, during that time, I was a bit occupied again. I was finishing things up, and so I only got around 30 pips of this movement, but we did have a full out 120 pip drop to our take profit, at which point price reacted and made back to make a decent sized rally. So again, very simple analysis, and that was the first trade of the week that went very well for us. The other one that we were looking at that took some time to develop was pound dollar. A nice long. We were just waiting for a 4-hour closure above this level, 1.25 thousand, and we finally got it after a few attempts on the 4-hour time frame, and a very simple rally to our take profit. And you can see every time our final target's reached, we have either a reversal or some sort of reaction. And this is because our levels are chosen very smartly. There's a strategy to it, and so we got out right when the sellers came in, and that's perfect. Because a lot of buyers that were trying to get maybe all the way up to here probably lost a chunk of their profits. So for intraday setups, we like to go chunks at a time. So if we did pop back above this level, we'd be looking for longs to here, which we were, but we didn't get that. So there was actually a pretty decent short for those that caught it. And so those are the actually two setups that became validated and actually went our way this week. And we'll go into what happened this week, but I mean, it was a pretty slow week. And if I just show you the alerts we've had, the amount of alerts that I set up this week, the amount of alerts that I have, where did it go? Oh, here. I mean, this is all the alerts we've had this week, and none of them were viable to enter. So we did our our homework. We put in the time, but if it doesn't conform to your strategy, you shouldn't force it. And actually, it kind of hurt us a bit yesterday when we did try to force it. So we'll talk about that. But GU, for example, was one of those pairs we were looking to take a trade for. And exactly, this is actually the pair I wanted to talk about in particular. So yesterday, during yesterday's session, we had a 4-hour closure down here, for GU. It was all the way down here, and you can see our hypothetical entry was up here near 1.24270, right? And so at one point in time, this 4-hour candle, this one right here, was very bearish. There was just a huge body, right? And we had around 15 minutes until this candle closed. 15 minutes. I kid you not, around 15 minutes before this candle closed. And in that 15 minutes, this candle closed all the way back up. And so, I mean, I called the entry for short because the 4-hour looked good. But in the 14 minutes, this thing squeezed up. Right, and if we go to the signal channel right here, you'll see, pound dollar so elusive. If the arrow closes this way, we will close out in minor loss, close in negative 23 pips, right? And so we closed in negative 23 pips when this arrow candle happened, because this 4-hour candle turned into a bearish hammer, and that's not a bearish candle per se for us. We usually like our bearish candles to have big bodies, very little wicks, and if there is a wick, it's longer at the top than to the bottom. This is the complete opposite. So we got into, we cut our losses short, and thank God we did, because this thing went up 130 pips. So it's always important to put your ego aside and to take that minor loss. I'd rather take a negative 20 pip loss than a negative 40 pip loss. And so that's just an example, but it was very volatile this week. And there's some reasons for this volatility, but there was no reason for this one, especially since there was no fundamentals for the last 48 hours. So let me go over just the comments on YouTube, and if anything's coming in, and say good morning to the group on the portal watching us. Morning, everyone. Morning. Thank you for the congratulations. Just say good morning, everyone here. Alright, so, and this was a good lesson learned, right? And we had a similar lesson for USD CAD. So if you go to USD CAD, we had a pretty nice long idea, and you can see what happened. So if you go to the daily time frame, and this is where I base my entry. Usually it's the 4-hour time frame these days. But the daily was bullish enough for me to take this trade. So you can see here, this was a daily candle that I wanted to go long on, with a projection of 1.42450. Now what happened was, We got a live entry during the session after these two, bearish and bullish hammers were printed, and we did go into some minor profit, but that kind of stalled on the 1 hour time frame. So if I head to the 1 hour time frame, you'll see we kind of had this push up, and then we started to make these inverted hammers, right? These inverted hammers, and I didn't like where price was headed. It was kind of like teetering over. If you look at a roller coaster hill where it kind of curves over and it's just gonna free fall, it was kind of giving me that kind of curvish action that was gonna drop lower, and so I got us right around entry, or maybe -2 pips loss, if that. And thank God we did, because this thing would have ended up stopping us out. So once again, that third eye, that intuition, just reading price action came into play and prevented us from getting a loss. So we got out here and ended up going to our stop, and then actually made some runs yesterday after some mixed US data, but didn't really go too far before coming all the way back down. So again, it's about how much you save, not how much you earn at the same time. And so this idea is going to be scratched, but USD CAD was definitely pretty tricky this week. Didn't really do much. I thought it was going to be a big week for the USD CAD, but nothing really. I mean, obviously this was a significant move, but this was totally fundamentally related, and I'm not sure what led to this previous rally early in London session, but that is the case for USD CAD. So no real direction. I mean, it's starting to look like shorts if we do breach this recent support down here, but until we do that, I'm not touching it. And just to show you the chart work we did this week, it was a lot. So of course we have other traders contributing other than me, but if you just look at the chart work that I did this week, so US oil, we had all this from yesterday, potential setups, and then all this for minor setups, and nothing got activated. We did enter a super swing short for USHF, and even though it's a super swing short, the stop loss is like 45 pips. So here's a good look at that trade. So yesterday we got entry right here, and we did get stuck into some retrace, which is fine. It's a swing trade, it's normal, and we pulled back, and now we're making another retrace. But the reason why this trade is taken is if we go all the way to the weekly, and we might have to go to monthly, to be honest. I think the monthly might do it. Yeah, the weekly's fine. So if you look at the weekly time frame, actually monthly might be better, just because they're so far out. I mean, this is the Euro CHF in a nutshell, right? We have all-time lows all the way down here during the flash crash, right? Actually, right here in 2014. And by this was the flash crash right here, and so we can see where this thing might be headed, right? It did break this last sort of support, and if it can go reach these flash crash levels, we can definitely make a huge percent of gain for very little risk, right? So that's what I'm targeting, kind of this movement down to at least this blue support zone, and anything after that's extra. This monthly candle is looking pretty bearish, looks pretty good. Again, just a nice body with a very little wick to the bottom. Ideally, we want to close that wick by the end of month's time and just take this thing down. Let's see how the week's closing out. So, I mean, if you're not in this trade just yet, you can definitely enter. I mean, it's again, the stop loss is so minimal that it's not gonna be too much of a burden if it turns into a loss. But very solid weekly candle. Again, we did breach this support with a strong amount of significance, right? And the R to R in this case is 5.66, so pretty dang good. Now that's pretty much the setups I wanted to cover in terms of what we took this week or what we wanted to take. Now let's pair recommendations. Any questions? Let me know what pairs you want me to look at. I'll let people on Discord know. Questions. So this morning instead of coffee, I made a blueberry and pomegranate smoothie. I use frozen fruits because actually those are better when fruits are picked from the farm. They're actually immediately frozen and sent out, so it's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, cool. I just had to say something while we wait. So pound yen, pound Aussie, awesome. So these are the pairs we're actually waiting for something to happen to trade, but again, the markets just didn't want to do what we expected it to do, and that's fine because as long as you don't enter a trade, it's fine. Whatever the market does, you just gotta be patient. So GJ, let's see. So we had a short bias yesterday, right? We were just waiting for a breach of 4-hour support. If I just pan back, you can see the support that we've created here back in the first week of April, right? Support here, rally, we came here. This week, rally from the support, again, rally, and then we didn't even try to go to the support before we tried another rally. So the logical thing is that, the logical thing here is that if we do get a breach of support, we can satisfy the rest of this range, because you can see this is the full range, right? From here all the way down to here. And if you look, we've satisfied the first half, right? The first half of the range we've satisfied. And now we're looking to satisfy the next part, right? This bottom half. And we always need a breach of the support that's kind of keeping it up. And so that was our philosophy. We used a similar philosophy for USD Yen, and that short played out perfectly. So patience, and there was no 4-hour closure, clearly bearish below this level, and no trade was taken. So my bias still stands. I mean, if you're an intraday trader or you're scalping, which I'm starting to do a lot more now, you could just trade in between this level and this level, right? There's a trade idea presented here, presented here, presented here. Another long here, a long here, a potential long here if we come back down. So that's my bias right now. It's obviously consolidated these past few days, just stuck in the kind of a range. And so maybe by the end of today and plus Sunday, we should probably be back up here somewhere. And at that point, we'll shift our bias to longs to target this range, right? Because you can see how important this range is. We actually spent 80% of last week within this box. That's pretty crazy to think about, but that's the way it is. So that's my view for GA. I mean, if price does trickle back down and break the support, then obviously the short is still a go. So I'm going to keep the short idea still here. Just from the longer term standpoint, I do think GJ should go lower, but it all depends with this whole pandemic. But we'll see. I'm open to taking longs if we do reach 134.818. If we don't, then shorts will still be the bias going into next week. Now let me just check the fundamental schedule for next week. It's always good. So this week was pretty quiet. I mean, for Friday to have no news is pretty surprising, but it does happen. So quickly. So Monday, very quiet day. Okay, that's pretty good. Tuesday we have RBA. And then unemployment rate for pound. Core retail sales for CAD. Interesting. So big day for CAD and the pound on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, PPI data for the pound. CPI data for the CAD. My goodness, the important week for the CAD next week. And then we even have flash PMI for the Aussie. So next week's very, very important for the Aussie and the CAD. So if you're looking to trade those pairs, watch out. And then even PMI for Euro. And even PMI for the dollar. So next week is news filled. Like really news filled. Like heavily. Every day there's a major event. I mean even Friday, for goodness sake, retail sales. So next week's going to be interesting. It's going to be pretty fun. A lot of volatility, so there shouldn't be any heat. A lot of setups will be activated. We just have to make sure we don't get faked out. So a lot of content next week, mainly Aussie and Canadian focus, but we also have a lot of Euro stuff thrown in there as well. So it'll be definitely a fun one. Anyways, GJ, that's my bias. Pound Aussie. Oh, Pound Aussie was the only trade that actually played out. Someone asked for it. I didn't like the R2R, so I didn't enter it, but someone did ask for this trade. I think it was Magnus or maybe Jessica. someone asked for it. Pound Aussie short, basically to this blue support zone, and we got it. It's a 1.67 R2R, and that's why I didn't really like it, especially for pound Aussie. They tend to be pretty volatile, and the retraces could be very deep at times. But nonetheless, the short was given or kind of analyzed for someone who wanted to see the vision, and it's a support zone, right? It's gonna be attracted to it once it breaks this level, and it broke it considerably. So I think because it broke it by so much, there wasn't even time for entry, right? Because our probable hypothetical entry was up here, but this thing went all the way down here, so there wasn't even time to enter. That's how volatile it has been. But if you look at the daily time frame, you see the three ranges that Pound Aussie has been respecting since this whole thing started. So since this whole pandemic started, it's been respecting this support right here, this intraday support right here, and then this resistance, right? It's been kind of stuck in between. It spent maybe 80% of the time within this kind of structure. And so we did have a pretty solid reaction, I believe, on Tuesday from this support zone to go higher, which went back to this intraday support, which turned into, I guess you want to consider it resistance, and it rejected it. So Pound Aussie, I'd say if we clear, where these wicks are, where these last bit of wicks are piercing through, you can see this exact level, 1.95600. So let me expand this out. This level right here, you can see wicks just hammering through. No candle is able to close below this. If Pound Aussie can bring us down below here, I'll look for shorts. Although today's daily candle is pretty bullish, as it's a bearish hammer with a long wick to the bottom, so it might tell me that upside momentum is still there, and it might take this back up. So we'll see. Let me just check the 4 hour. I'm pretty sure it's a bullish hammer right now. Okay, so it's a bullish engulfing candle, and so maybe Monday we can probably look for longs. It's not a bad time since we're in the heart of the support to take it back long. That's actually not bad at all. We're right at support, so if we do, our stop loss will be pretty dang tight for this trade, and the R2R could be amazing. I do think Aussie should come to his senses soon, but it did have pretty good unemployment data this week, so it may not. But 2.3 R2R is not bad for Pound Aussie, considering this is over 300 pips, right? So I think I have a long bias, but we'll see what happens Sunday and actually Monday. I don't really trade Sundays, so thank you for that. GBP CAD, okay. USD Yen. Damn, Serge, you love the pounds, eh? So Canadian. Eh? USD Yen. I guess price will probably be pulled to this area, our previous take profit. Let me just take a screenshot of this trade analysis because it's pretty nice and simple. Could go on my Instagram. I have an Instagram, by the way, guys, if you want to follow it. Like I said, I was busy this week, but I'm going to start posting stuff, non-trading related stuff, trading related stuff. A quick little social media plug in there. King RP Forex, and I didn't mean to put King, but someone stole RP Forex. Someone even stole Trader RP, so I had to choose King RP Forex. But go ahead and follow me on IG, and I'll follow back. Feel free to message me. I'm always down to chat. Anyways, USD Yen, I do think it will probably just sooner rather than later should be pulled back down, make another attempt at the support. Next week, if we do close above this previous kind of resistance we've created, I would think of going long. Until then, this thing is probably just going to chill. It's a Friday, no news today, so no volatility in the markets to really do anything. But if I were to describe a course of action, it'd probably go back to support on Sunday, and then Monday during New York session, when Wall Street opens, it should probably make a rally back up. So we could have a potential intraday long. As you can see, the support is pretty well respected, and all we'll do is look for reactions similar to in the past, either a bullish hammer or a bullish engulfing from this level, and take it long. So current bias mixed, but come Monday, I'm thinking of maybe taking intraday long from our previous support to this kind of intraday resistance we've created. That's my idea for UJ. And I'd wait for Mondays to take this trade. I don't really trust Sundays at all. Pound CHF. Pound CHF. It's like a pound massacre. Damn. So we had this pound CHF short back in February, just absolutely beautiful. Anyways, long. This thing tells me long. Just off the weekly time frame, we're coming off a huge support zone right here, and you can see when we broke it, we printed a bearish hammer. That tells you buyers did not want to go any lower. They cut it short, and you can see a bullish hammer was printed in response. And then we came off support, 1, 2, 3 weeks of straight buys. So I think this thing will make a rally for 1.22,600, a nice psychological level, which was a previous daily support. Very well respected all throughout 2016 up until 2020. So that's my projection. Let me go to the 4-hour, maybe provide you with entry criteria. So 4-hour is pretty okay, perfect. So the 4-hour, we've kind of created a resistance right around this kind of level right here, and this is where our rally to go higher has stalled. You can see we kind of created like a double top pattern, and then we had a miniature sell-off, right? So I'm gonna just put my 4-hour support down here. 4-hour support, our resistance zone. And so as long as pound CHF stays within this level or above, we're going long, obviously. If it does break this 4-hour support, then I'd be looking for shorts, at least for the short term. Just pulling back, you can kind of see we've broken a medium-term trend line, as you can see here. And based on what we talked about this week, trend lines are very, very useful. Some people might not like them, but they're definitely useful. You can see a nice clean trend line. Our first touch, second touch, third touch, we had a break, we had a retest, we had a miniature rejection, but price has come back again to retest that trend line and has rejected it. So on Monday, if we do get a 4-hour bearish closure below this level, 1.20500, then I'll be looking for shorts with the first target at these wicks down here at 1.22, so 30 pips away. And then the next probably best bet target is this one. You can see a lot of volatility and activity in this area, a lot of wicks, a lot of candles being pushed into this area. So that would be the trade setup for shorts, which now looks more likely. And we know the safe haven is gonna be strong during the times of pandemics. So something like this, 2.69 is fantastic, but the 4-hour closure is important and it has to be bearish. Don't get fooled by these candles in the past. Wait for that closure. I don't care if it's 2 minutes left, because pound could easily just squeeze back up. So that's what I see for pound CHF. I'll save this and send the chart work through. Oh, not email. One second. Whenever I open the email app, this thing, Windows goes crazy. Someone asked for GA, so we just did GA. Thank you for the knowledge. Demian says thank you for the knowledge. No problem. Happy to help. What is going on here? Oh, there goes Windows. Just give it a second. Anytime the email app opens, this thing does it. Alright, cool. No. Okay, perfect. No. Stop. Jesus Christ, Windows. Alright, there you go. My goodness. It's stuck again. Well, tell me I'm not surprised by Windows. Maybe Firefox, whatever the case may be, it's not letting me touch tabs, which is messed up. Can I open another tab? Nope, can't even do that. Alright, well this session just got delayed. Just give me a sec, guys, while I figure this thing out. See what happens when I try to open a new tab. One moment. Okay, I'll close this. Boom, okay, cool. Quick fixer. So someone said analysis for Crude, so that was also a popular recommendation, and so I'll give Crude a look. Crude, also known as US oil, and we had a potential setup for that thing too, and we were patient, but it did not satisfy entry criteria. So US oil, very quickly. Oh, cool. I guess I didn't have an alert, but US oil. Nice. So this is a setup given yesterday, right? We had two scenarios, either a long or a short. And okay, I see why. Okay, so we were looking for a bearish 4-hour closure below this level to go short. Now this 4-hour closure is not bearish, so that's why we did not take this trade. You can see here, although we went into profit, it's definitely risky. This 4-hour closure is a bearish hammer, right? You can see a very long wick to the bottom, and then we have an indecision candle, and so now I get it. So there was an alert, but it did not satisfy our price action strategy. So it was, when you enter on trades with entries like this, you're kind of rolling the dice, you're doing a gamble, and we like to trade, not gamble. So if it doesn't fit the criteria, no point. But nonetheless, we had the vision, the short bias there. So I'm just going to remove this idea now. We had a target of 1720 for crude oil. Now I do think it will get there. Just the only thing concerning me is these long wicks to the bottom, right? It did try to go, went as low as 1740. So it was just 20 pips short of our target, 1740. That's how low crude oil went. That is actually crazy. That's worse than what happened during the 2008 financial crisis. Now, based off that price action and the overall downtrend we've been, if you just shorted crude oil since the pandemic started, you would have been a millionaire. But I think this is just a push, maybe a retest. So I don't like to go the 1 hour time frame for crude, but you can kind of see the push, the retest of the support, and we're currently trying to reject it. Since the majority of the move to 1720 happened already, I'm not going to enter this short anymore. What I'll do is wait for 1720 to break, and then we take it short. We waited for example, 1930 to break to go short. Now we'll wait for 1720 because we're 20 pips away. So if crude oil was going to reverse, it may reverse now because it's now hitting significant all-time lows. And if you just look at the monthly candle that we printed last month, completely shattered all kinds of support. And now this is the last kind of standing one, 1720. If you look here, 1992, that's where we spent a lot of time, 1720, back when our parents paid a nickel and dime for gas. So if we do break 1720, we could even go down and make 1886 lows. 1986 lows. Can you imagine that? Cheap gas, but nowhere to go. Cheap gas, but nowhere to go. Can you believe it? So this is what we can have, right? If we do break 1720, this is the vision as low as 12.34 per barrel. I don't know if crude oil will get there. I'm pretty sure OPEC will not allow that, but if it does happen, we're making history for sure. That would be around 40-year lows, which is actually crazy, considering I haven't been alive that long. So definitely an interesting factor. And so that's what we're waiting for. I don't think people have taken in the magnitude of that monthly candle right here, right? So this month could be either a month of continuation down, or it could be a month of retrace, a minor reversal, and then down. But you can see we've kind of made an attempt to go back higher with this huge wick, but this pandemic said no way, not now. We're continuing going lower. So I'd wait for 1720 to get to break next week. I don't think buys are a good opportunity right now. Maybe as a scalper, if you see the opportunity, but I don't really scalp against the trend. I scalp with the trend. So 1720 break, we'll take it down to maybe 12. Obviously, we'll take profits in between there, but that could be a nice long-term target, which we could get there in a few days. We went from 20 to 17 in the matter of 3 days. So why can't we go from 17 to 11 in a week, right? So we'll see. I think a lot is banking on the potential of vaccine. If a vaccine does come along, then this thing will not drop anymore. But if it seems daunting as a daunting task, then this thing should drop. So 2.84, I'm going to wait for maybe the daily closure on Monday to give me the entry criteria to go short crude oil. Yeah, we really love oil. I think we have like a 90% success rate with oil. It's ridiculous. What do I see for Euro USD, Euro CAD? Euro USD was so annoying this week. Now, did I talk about Euro USD? I hope I didn't. If I did not, I will do that now. So Euro USD this week, we took a trade on it. Oh, okay, so perfect. We took a trade on it to go long, and this was one of our losses this week. And this was our first substantial loss in quite some time, which is actually pretty crazy considering we don't have that. And just quickly, as a side note, actually I'll pull it up after. We've been on quite a run these past few weeks. It's actually been crazy. So I'm not too worried about how this week went, but Euro USD was pretty elusive, and it kind of was fundamentally related. I wouldn't say all the way through, but definitely could be attributed to the U.S. Unemployment claims this week, which came out better than expected. So we'll give that analysis a look. Just really quickly though. Oops. Boop. Okay, so we just quickly go through these last few weeks. These last few weeks, we've been on pretty much a 16 win streak, right? And because I was busy, I didn't catch all of this. I probably caught maybe 60 to 70%, because I'm going to sleep pretty early. But nonetheless, we've been on a roll. So we were due for kind of like a week like this. But nonetheless, Euro USD, we're looking for a 4-hour closure to go long. We did get that. So it was obviously not an ideal 4-hour closure. I actually used the daily time frame, so you can see the 4-hour. This is not a bullish candle closure. This is not a bullish candle closure. This is an indecision candle. We shouldn't have really entered this trade, but because of the time constraint I was on, I was going based off the daily time frame, and the daily, you can see, was a pretty solid bullish closure, right? And so that's what I was trying to ride the momentum up to here, and we incurred a loss. It happens. I'm human. But in terms of next week, I think maybe shorts, but I don't know. You can kind of see it's kind of getting squeezed down into like a pennant pattern. But I don't really buy that stuff too much. I'd probably wait for more confirmation on Monday going into Tuesday. We do have Euro PMI on Thursday, so it could just consolidate until Thursday. But in terms of intraday level, I have a long bias. We can see the support at 1.08000. Nice level. We could have a long like we did in the past from this level. We actually had a potential long last week from this level. So if Euro USD can make its way back down to here and make an honest attempt to go lower but pull back, we'll go up long for Euro USD. So something like this, and then it spends time consolidating at that level. Right, so it comes down here, consolidates. We get bullish reaction like a bullish hammer engulfing. We'll take it long back up to here. That's my view for Euro USD this week. CAD CHF. Yeah, Marco, that was a good call on your hand, because the time, you may miss a trade entry by waiting, but the other 10 times you waiting will save you a lot of money. So CAD CHF, what is this from? This is from first week April, so we're done with this. CAD CHF has kind of been stuck in a range of itself, really. If I extend this over, if you just look at price action for the past, let's see, I guess the past 2 months, from March all the way to now. So the past 6 weeks, it spent 80% of its time within this range. A brief moment spent outside, but then it came back in this range. So it's pretty consolidated. If you're going to be looking at anything for CAD CHF, it should be on the intraday scalping level if you do that. Nothing really screams anything big. I mean, we did break out the range to go long. We didn't have enough buyers to do so. And we smacked back down in range with a nice bearish candle. We should have went lower, but there's not enough sellers to go lower. So it's consolidated, and it's very indecisive right now, right? So the 4-hour time frame, can I just see rebounding from here to here like a ping pong. So I'd probably look for shorts maybe as it came up to retest this resistance. Maybe take a short back down to this previous wick area, a nice kind of scalp. If you're into that, take it down to here. Yeah, I think that's an okay trade idea. And I think moving into next week, I don't want to make any promises, but moving into next week, if the 4-hour candle does break this kind of level right here at 0.68560, we should probably go short down to here, right? I will be looking for that trade idea, and it makes sense as CAD CHF goes down, Euro USD goes up. So if we do have a potential long for Euro USD, so if we do take that, then we should see CAD CHF go lower. So could be a potential idea. We do have to wait for the 4-hour closure below this kind of level right here to take it down. CAD CHF, NZD Yen. Okay. And GBP CAD. Sure. Oh. And one of our best winners this week, which I completely ignored, was NZD Yen. So awesome trade idea. Again, my cognitive resources have been taxed this whole week, but we had NZD Yen come out perfect this week. Sell NZD Yen 65.151, and I called this signal on Wednesday. Actually no, on Tuesday. I called it on Tuesday. So at 65.151, which was right here, and we rode this thing all the way down for a nice final TP of around 80 pips. So from here all the way down to here, pretty solid. Now, just looking at the price action, which has been pretty clean, right? We have our clean, distinct levels here, here, and here, right? That's all we need to know for now. So we did try to make an honest effort to go to here, but buyers kicked in. So this tells me the bullish momentum is going to the upside. And I actually have a scalp for NZD Yen now to go long. Let me see if it's here. Oh no, okay, so I was scalping earlier, but it's not. So I took some profits. I was going to take some profits, but NZD Yen, I'm in a long right now, a long scalp. And you can see the momentum, this bearish hammer is trying to push it up against this previous minor resistance level. And so I'm thinking for NZD Yen, if we pop above 64.929 or just 65 flat, so 65 flat, if we close above 4-hour time frame bullish, like we've done here in the past, we'll go up to at least 65,500 minimum. But you can see it's a strong resistance, so that's why I'm targeting that. A nice 40 pip intraday gain could be possible. We've done this in the past, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Anytime we break this level, we always go at least to here. So that's what we're trying to do again. You can see buyers are trying to force that issue. You know, they didn't want to go as low as here. This thing's popping back above. So NZD Yen, I mean, if you're looking in scalps or just looking for a trade for Sunday, maybe even today, depending on the mood for NZD, but something like this, 2.78 scalp, it's not bad at all. But you gotta wait. Well, and as intraday level, you can enter after a 4-hour closure above this level. As a scalper, I've already entered long, and that's just that's a whole different ideal. But for intradays, that's what we share here. I think this is a good idea for NZD Yen, so we'll see. And while this goes up, NZD Yen, Euro USD should go up. So it all makes sense. It's all coming together. So next week should be pretty good. And I think next week we should focus mainly on the minors, just because it's a very, very focused on the majors with the fundamental releases. So I'll send this through. We'll see what happens. I'll give an update on Sunday for sure. All right, next up. Awesome. Eman Simpson, thanks for covering Cassie Jeff. Want to see my analysis aligned. Did your analysis say the same thing? Oh, one more thing, guys. If you join our Discord or if you're already on it, we have a crazy program, which I don't think too many people are doing. It's called the Me6 Incentive Program. Basically, if you message or you send in your chart work, we highly advise that. Send in your chart work, ask questions, share memes every now and then. Every time you message, you will get leveled up, right? And that is, for example, if you level up to level 5, you will receive 2 days added to your membership. If you level up to level 20, for example, you will get a total of almost 30 days added to your membership. So that's a whole free month just for messaging on the Discord. So if you're a free member, you can definitely take advantage, and somehow if you level up all the way, you can get a free month of membership and $25. Probably an Amazon gift card or iTunes, whatever it may be. So pretty awesome. So if you're a free member and you become a paid member, you can definitely take advantage of this and get extra days on your membership for pretty much very little effort. You're always on your phone, take advantage. So awesome. Hopefully my analysis aligned with yours, Eman. That's what I think, but if you see something different, be sure to send in the chart work and I'll be happy to give it a look. Next up, yeah, $1 for gas. Yeah, those are the good times. Is Telegram working okay? Yes, it is. If there's any issues, make sure you talk to support, or you know, message us on Telegram at the Forex Lens, or talk to Allison on forexlens.com. Yes, so for those that leveled up, we will be adding your days at the end of the month. So I guess at the end of April 30th, we'll be adding everyone's days. And we'll probably send you a message saying, hey, you got this many days added. Congratulations for sure. So yeah, we covered quite a bit of setups for next week. Let's take a look at gold, because I do want to take a short on this thing, and it looks good. I have to tell you, it looks really good. So this week we were patient. We were patient to go long, and no entry criteria, no trade. Very simple. So in I think Wednesday session, we were down here, and I did say that gold will probably go back up to here. At which point we will look for a 4-hour closure above this level. These are all orders that are they're not pending orders or pending trades. It's a difference, right? Pending orders tell you an idea has been set and enter a price. This is telling you to watch price action and wait for a 4-hour closure to come here, right? And it needs to be a bullish 4-hour closure. For example, this candle would not count. It's not bullish. This has a huge wick to the top, a very small body, not bullish. But this one is, it's a bullish hammer. And we wanted that up here to take this to my target of 1800. Now, that didn't happen, so no trade was taken. Now we have kind of shifted our momentum. You can see I've drew an arrow on Wednesday that if we do break this level, we're probably headed back to at least this level, even more so to this one down here, right? And this is 1685. Now what I'm thinking for Monday is if we do breach 1685 on the 4-hour time frame, we should head lower, right? At least 6 to 1650, maybe more so, but 1650 is a nice psychological resistance. Now you can see, these past 4-hour candles. This was a bearish hammer. This was a bearish hammer. This is an indecision candle. We have an equal wick to the top and bottom. So what this is telling me is that buyers aren't willing to let this thing go all the way down. There's definitely some buying pressure here, and you gotta watch out for that, right? So there may be a retrace back up, and then we might have longs back on the table. But as long as we stay in and around this area of price, I'm looking for shorts. But a breach on the 4-hour time frame of 1685 is very, very important. So remember that level. If we do break 1685, next target is 1675, 100 pips away, and then finally 1650 for gold. Yeah. And I think that's covered most of what I want to talk about today. The last bit is I'm going to give the coupon code. So if you're interested in these sessions and you want to join in, you want to learn how to trade, get full access to our Discord, and get 5 signal providers on the house, all you have to do is use the coupon code FIRST50 to get 50% off your first month. You have to go to forexlens.com. Once you're there, go to Forex Trading Room. Click Get Started. Fill out this form. Click Next. At the bottom, you will see Add a promo code. And if you use FIRST50, it will only be $48.50 for your first month. You spend that on lunch. You spend that as a tab when you go out with your friends. When you get drinks, it's not really too much to ask for, especially with this pandemic and the lockdown. Time is an abundance. We have an abundance of time. So use it wisely, invest in yourself, join the Forex Trading Room, and you can also follow not just me but traders in Smart Money, Elliott Wave Theory. It's actually fantastic, so it's great, caters to everyone. And one more thing before any last minute questions. If you have any last minute questions, send them in now. Trustpilot. We have a Forex Lens Trustpilot, if you guys know that. It's where clients or customers leave reviews about businesses. Now, if you want to give a review, and you do give one, we will add 5 days to your membership. All you have to do is message Allison on Discord with your review of Forex Lens, and then we will send you a link to post it, and we'll add those 5 days to your membership. So we appreciate the support. We have a lot of people posting gains in our gain reviews channel. So if you want to join the Discord, the link is in the description. You can see all our members making profits, learning how to trade, and making strides, becoming financially free. So that is that. Monday we will host another free session if you're still on the fence, but hopefully I see some new faces next week. So I'm RP Forex. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace, and be safe. Please be safe.